Hello everybody, Dr. Joe Schaefer here with Motility, and welcome to our web seminar on remarketing, or what we call visitor recycling, where you can follow your visitors around the web with your message. Note at the bottom there, use the chat box on this page to send any questions. So down below the video on the page, you should be able to see where you can chat with us in real time and ask questions. So let's get started. So again, I'm Dr. Joe Schaefer. I got my doctorate in neurophysiology, studying the cellular mechanisms of behavior in 1997. I've been doing search engine marketing for clients since 2002, and in 2008 I founded Motility Inc. with my partner Scott Martin. We started out, we first co-created Live on Page, which is a video spokesperson software. We co-created that software engine, and then combined that with search engine marketing over the past 7 years to work with literally over 1,000 clients. Why am I giving this seminar out? Well, in general, first I want to mention, and I'm going to put this link down below, if you haven't checked out this book or this website, this is a really a cool book and a powerful process done by the Gallup poll people. But essentially, you go through about a 30-minute test. You find out what your strengths are, your 5 top strengths out of 34 different kind of personality types. And if I look at mine, they come out to be these 5. Input. In other words, I try to always gather as much information as I can. I connect these things together, this new information, in different ways, unique ways, kind of turn the world upside down and show it to other people. That's the ideation part. Empathy, that I kind of understand where people are coming from, what their understanding is, what their questions are, even when they don't ask them. Communication, and of course that's what I'm doing right now. And then finally, developer, that one of my biggest drivers is developing people and empowering them. And so if you look at all 5 of those things and see what they have in common, and see what these folks over at StrengthsFinder recommend for me as a job, number 1, or one of them is advertising, another one is marketing, and the top one is teaching. So that's why I'm here today, teaching about advertising and marketing. And so I can fulfill my ultimate mission with you folks. What lends itself to marketing success? Truly, even if you're looking at a brick and mortar, 50% of that success comes from getting traffic in the door, and 50% comes from sales. Now, it's not that simple, but let's call it 50-50 right there. In other words, one without the other will not work. You can't have sales without traffic, and you can have traffic and no sales, and you're not going to be successful. And the same thing holds true for websites. In the web world, you have to have traffic to the website, and you have to convert that traffic to a sale. So it's no different than a brick and mortar business. Traffic itself is a limited resource. There's only so much search traffic in any one town for any one industry or service category, or so much traffic across the nation. For instance, here we're looking at individual retirement accounts using real estate, self-directed individual retirement accounts for real estate, or self-directed IRAs by themselves. And you can see that over time, since 2005, that there's been a drop-off in interest of real estate IRAs, and there's been a drop-off in self-directed IRAs in general. And this is going to be another link for you in the resource section, Google Trends. You can have a lot of fun there. You can go find out what's trending right now all over the world, but you can also find out what's going on over time in your industry. Is it trending? If what you're selling is trending up, trending down, or if there's a new term people are using to find that service. So what we've established here is that traffic is not constant. It's shifting over time, and very often there's getting to be less traffic but more competitors. There's different sources of traffic to your website. Search engines, for instance, is what we typically think about. Search engines have 2 kinds of traffic. Organic results, so that, in other words, those are the results that are lower on the page, or the map listings, things you don't have to pay for. And then there's paid links. Those are the paid ads at the top and down the right-hand side of the search result page. There are banner or display ads and pre-roll video. These are paid. This is paid traffic as well, but you're paying to put these ads on different websites that get a lot of traffic, whether they're news websites or a site like YouTube or Daily Motion sites that have a lot of videos. Pre-roll videos are those annoying videos that you have to watch before you get to watch the video you went to the site to watch in the first place. Very often 15 to 30-second commercials that go before the entertaining video that you came to watch. Banner ads, display ads, those are display ads. Pre-roll video, those are all targeted in different ways. They can be targeted demographically. In other words, I want this to show up to women between the age of 18 and 34, let's say, or behaviorally targeted. I want it to show up to people who visited home improvement sites and show an interest in buying new windows, for instance, or targeted to a list that you create. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is creating your own targeting list for these kinds of ads. Then there's direct traffic. So that's non-web marketing. Are you putting up flyers, or you have TV commercials or radio, or you're doing word of mouth or seminars? Are you driving people to your website in ways other than search marketing or banner ads? And finally, social media, which just shows up as a referral traffic source, and if you're looking at Google Analytics. Now, what about conversion? What kind of conversions are there? When we say conversion, we mean converting a visitor to the site to something else. So we could have them fill out a form. It would be a lead capture conversion. You're capturing contact information in a response form, or you get them to give you a phone call, or maybe an email that they send. So it would be a lead, some kind of capturing some kind of a lead. Or maybe that you're trying to get them to buy something. It's an e-commerce, a sale. And when we talk about conversions, there's micro conversions and macro conversions. Micro conversions, many of those lead to a macro conversion. What I listed above there, those are macro conversions, meaning that's the big conversion. You want a lead or you want a sale. What's a micro conversion? Well, that's getting someone off of page 1 of the home page to a deeper page. And you have to have many successful micro conversions that all lead up to a macro conversion. So you can measure these things and find out if your sources of traffic are worth pursuing by measuring these micro conversions. So what kind of conversion rate should you expect for your website? Well, if you look at this article that was in Search Engine Land, you can see that across many different industries that the average conversion rate's around 2%, meaning 2 out of 100 people in your website, 2 out of 100 visitors will take the action that you wanted them to take. And you can see that even, it says some are converting at 5% or higher, and very few of them break out at 10%. 10% is a kind of the holy grail of lead conversion, and very few websites ever break the 10% barrier. So let's just say then that your website's converting at 5%, which puts you above the average, almost double the average. If it's converting at 5%, then what that means is out of every 100 visitors, 95 people leave your site without taking any action whatsoever. They don't fill out a lead form, they don't call you, they don't email, they just leave. That leaves 5% of them that do something that you want them to do. Now let's say they filled out a lead form or a response form. Out of those 5 that filled it out, let's give you a really solid closing rate of 20%. Say you close 20% of all your leads and turn them into clients. So that means that 1 out of 100 people become clients, 1 out of 100 visitors. So the vast majority of your visitors are leaving without taking action. So the question is, where's everybody going in such a hurry? Why are they leaving your site? And it's due to something I coined the term back pressure, and it means that there's the grass is greener back on the search engine and result page than it is in your website. They have more faith they're going to find clarity in one of these other sites than they do in your site from the moment they walk in the door of your website. I just did a search here for insurance in our town, in our city, and I have to have 3 screenshots here to cover everything that's on this page. There's the second one, there's the third one. And the summary of that is, if you look at the paid ads, the pay-per-click ads, there's 11 of them. There's 7 map listings. You can click on the map itself, that's another link. Organic listings, below that, the quote-unquote free listings, there's 11 of those. And then there's some news that Google put on there about insurance, and there's 3 links there. So there's a total of 33 links to click on this one page. And so when you go into a website to look at insurance, you saw that vast selection of 33 links. And if you don't see what you need to see immediately when you go into that first website, there's a tremendous amount of pressure, like that salmon swimming upstream right there, to go back to the search engine result page and pick a new target. So that's why I said the SERP, by the way, that's called a SERP, search engine result page, holds more promise of clarity than your website, unfortunately. And what the data shows is most of your traffic makes that decision in about 8 seconds. And don't blame those poor folks going on the internet. They are overwhelmed, they're overstimulated, and they end up browsing all those search results like someone with ADD, with attention deficit disorder. And so that's why they leave so fast to go back to that website, because they only have maybe 30 seconds, 60 seconds today, or maybe a couple minutes to research a topic. And they've got to identify the best site as quickly as they can to invest the time that it's going to take to research that. Imagine if a shopping mall, looked like the search engine result page. It would look like this. This entire mall would be nothing, let's say, but insurance shops. Let's say 33 stores in this mall, all, if it was like the search engine result page, all selling identical insurance services. If that mall looked like that, then all these people would be just as impatient shopping here as they are on that when they're in Google. You would run in and out of the stores looking for the one store that you've got time to go into today and figure out what to buy. So the problem is then that at least 95% of your visitors are leaving. So if it's this bucket over here, your visitors are pouring in and they're pouring right back out. If you had a bucket that lost 95% of the water that went into it, it would be doing a pretty poor job of being a bucket. What are they doing when they leave? This is really important that we figure this out. Maybe they're stopping for the day. They've done the search. Maybe you're the last search they made. Maybe you're the only site they visited, and they're not looking anymore. Or maybe they visited 5 to 10 other sites just like yours. That's probably more likely. Or maybe they became a lead for your competitor. Well, the reality is, as long as they didn't buy from one of your competitors, they're still in play. You can still get this client, even if they become a lead for your competitor. So don't give up on the 95%. They've established a definite need for your product, or they wouldn't have come to your website. They're in the market, and they didn't see what they needed to see today, but they definitely against all odds, they found your website. So now you got to make sure they never forget you, because they're still in play if they haven't purchased with another vendor. So what we want to do is use, we call it visitor recycling. I think it's more easy to understand for business owners than remarketing, but it's the same thing. Visitor recycling, meaning we're not throwing away those visitors, those 95%, but we're going to recycle those folks. We're going to bring them back to the table. So this is done with a little Web 2.0 magic. So it's been around for a while, the Web 2.0 revolution. One of the Web 2.0 mechanisms that's so popular that makes this possible is kind of like that chocolate chip cookie right there. Cookies, and everybody's now familiar with that term, cookies. We know that's something that a website drops into your browser to identify you at a later point. Maybe it holds login information in the cookie for you so you can get back into the site easier. But next to nobody disables cookies in their browsers these days. You would not have a web experience without cookies. Whether you're going to your bank, whether you're going Just any place that you are logging in, any place that captures and holds your information for later use. To take advantage of this, we add a pixel to your website. This pixel basically deposits that cookie or that identifying number into the browser of any person that comes to your website. So when they download the homepage of your website or whatever page we put the pixel on, they've downloaded that cookie into their browser. Those cookies are then used to segment and create different audiences. So if they went to your homepage, they may be a part of your homepage audience. If they selected one of your services, let's say for the Motility website, let's say they selected search engine optimization and they went to that page, then we can segment that audience and talk to that separate audience that visited the SEO page. And then we can go back to those people and re-advertise that subgroup of people and escalate our offers and promotions. So let's say you came to our SEO page, but you didn't reach out to us today. We can go back to you at later with our recycling banner ads. You'll see them pop up all over the internet wherever you go that has banner inventory showing up on it, or banner or even video inventory. And now we will make an offer to you potentially for, let's say, zero startup fee, or some kind of a promotion or offer that is a call to action and based upon the service that you were interested in. We need to rotate those ads because they're going to show up. We want to make sure you see our logo, but we want to change promotions, change offers, and prevent what's called ad fatigue, where you keep seeing the same banner ad, which is actually better than not seeing any banner ad. Even seeing the same one over and over again is better than nothing. But we do want to catch your attention with new offers and new promotions. And this is just a sample view of one particular cookie statement, a cookie code for a platform that does banners and pre-roll that we use. Typically, these are only available to agencies, but you can see there's HTML tag, flash tag. So we can also cookie, if you've seen the pre-roll video somewhere, it comes out of the Flash application and drops into your browser. So we can tell if you've even just seen our video, or if you've watched half of it or watched all of it or clicked and went to our website. We can segment you in different ways. The result of this is that, again, you see reminders everywhere. So imagine that you were going to a store, you went in to look at some shirts, you went to the Gap, and you walked in to look at some shirts, and you walked back out 30, 45 seconds later, a couple minutes later, but you didn't purchase anything. And then everywhere you went that day, you saw promotions and offers for sales at the Gap, reminding you of the quality, the inventory, the designs, everything that you liked about the Gap. Or maybe you just couldn't make a decision that day, but now they've upped the ante on it. They've escalated the offers, and you see the Gap everywhere you go. This is a screenshot from Fox News last week on one unfortunate day. So let's not think about the news item there. But what I want to point out is this banner ad over in the bottom right, build a sign. Now I went to this website the day before and built a sign and put it in their system, and I haven't ordered it yet, and they know that. They've tracked the fact that I didn't place the order, that I abandoned the order process, and they're shooting a banner at me on this page to remind me, look, save 15% on all orders. Look, they've escalated the offer. When I click that and go back, I'll go back to the banner that I've already created in the system, and I can pick up where I left off. Here's MSNBC, Constant Contact. I went and did a Constant Contact email earlier today, sent one out on behalf of a client. Look at that. They know that. There it is. They're advertising to me with a banner. Here's weather.com. Dun & Bradstreet. I did not do anything with Dun & Bradstreet in the past year, but they're just advertising with a banner. So very often I'll see one of my clients' banners up here because, of course, I visit their website and I'm on their list. So these are the kinds of websites that you appear in. This just came in from one of our clients yesterday. She told me how proud they all were when they saw their own banner on the New York Times, and they realized, wow, our prospects, people to the website must be so impressed when they go to these kinds of websites and they see us advertising there. This is a client who used a combination then of recycling and segmenting different components of their audience. They used video pre-roll. Again, those are the videos that show up before the video you want to watch. And pay-per-click ads, that's PPC, and search engine optimization. They used all of these to try to book as many seats as they could on this boat up there for Mother's Day, for a Mother's Day a brunch banquet. And so we did a short-term, like a 3-week build-up in all those areas. And for the first time in their history, they almost sold out the entire boat. It's the largest booking they'd ever had on Mother's Day. And when they asked the people who came in, they found that most of them said internet. And this is, again, a first for them to track it all back to the internet. So now that's a short term. What about long-term campaigns using pre-roll and remarketing? This individual, Harry's Carpets, is a store in LA, and Harry's using pre-roll video combined with remarketing banners. So people come in, they see the video, they come back to the site, and then we target them with more pre-roll if they came back to the site, and we target them with banners. And so what you can see is this area in the center, center left, that's the pre-roll video. It says, you see how it says this advertisement runs for 30 seconds. That's a demo of the pre-roll commercial. And then the banners are all surrounding it here. This is just a preview mode to show you all the banners and the video, but they do not show up like this, of course. But these are the banners that show up to remind you of his brand and message. And there's his testimonial. I just got it yesterday, actually. Oh no, I'm sorry. Last week, 7/23. Thanks for all the hard work you've done. I've been busier than hell since pre-roll and remarketing campaign went live. And so you can see that over the long term, it works as well, not just for short-term events. Here's the last example I want to show you. This is a martial arts school. It teaches Kung Fu, teaches Tai Chi, teaches a kids program. And the current member list for this website, in other words, these are how many people who have been cookied after they came to the website over 6 months, is 4,184. So that's a sizable list, but it's not that many percent. What is that, like about 700 visitors a month for that website? And those visitors all get there through a combination of SEO and pay-per-click. No banners though, just remarketing banners. And so that current member list of 4,000 has seen the remarketing banner ads showing up for them. You see down here it says impressions, 419,000 times, 419,000 impressions in the past 6 months. 811 times those banners have been clicked and taking one of those people back to the website. Then if those people who came back to the site fill out a form to get more information, a response form, that's called a click conversion, and there's been 13 of those. View conversions mean they didn't click on the banner, but their cookie was recognized. They end up coming back to the site, they fill out a form, and that's called a view conversion. So they didn't click, they just saw the banner, and it tracks that as well. Okay, since twice the conversions, we go back and look, so there's twice the conversions almost were view conversions instead of clicks. So since twice of them came from views and not clicks, then we can assume that if 811 people clicked, then there must have been at least 800 people who came back to the site because they saw the banner. So that's a minimum of at least 1,600 people came back to that martial arts school website. 1,600 out of a list of 4,184 members. So that comes out to 38% of that remarketing list. 38% of the visitors over 6 months that left the site without taking action came back to the site because they saw a remarketing banner and either clicked it or just went back to the site because they now remembered the name of that business. And this is how they break down the demographics of that list. You can see slightly more men than women in the list, and the unknown, well, no, it's about even actually. The unknown component means they weren't logged in to the network, the Google network, when they became a member of the list. Let's look at the original numbers. So our whole goal is here to change how many clients we get. And to change that, we've got to change what we're doing with those lost prospects, that 95% of the people who walked out of our site without taking action. We've got to change that in order to change the number of clients. So by bringing 38% back, I even just changed it back to 30% there. Basically, the lost prospects now are 65% on the right. Of those, what we find is that the returning clients and the remarketing, the recycling traffic actually converts at a higher rate, and that's no surprise because they've now heard of the business's name twice. They've chosen to come back to the website twice, or coming to the website twice. They're more motivated than those novel people who came in the first time. And so what we see is that the unclosed leads went from 4% to 10%. So we got more leads we're working with, which, hey, we may close those eventually. And the number of clients in that period of time went from 1% close rate to 5%. So a 5-fold increase in clients, a doubling of the leads that we're working with, and that 20% visitors that left the site again, that big 20% piece of pie. Hey, those people are still part of the remarketing list, and then we're going to still continue to communicate with them. So the summary about recycling, about visitor recycling, or as you may have heard of remarketing, is the average small business website gets only about 500 to 1,000 visitors per month. Even at good conversion rates, this amount of traffic will not sustain growth. 500 to 1,000 visitors, if you're only going to get a 5% lead conversion rate, you're looking at very few leads. For 500 visitors, you're looking at 25 leads a month, and if you're only going to close 1 out of 5, you're looking at 5 new clients a month. Now, of course, it depends on what your product is or service that you're selling, whether that's going to be enough to sustain you. Typically, business owners keep talking about new traffic. I got to go get new traffic. I got to get more traffic, and the problem with that is that all costs a tremendous amount of money. Whether you're paying for SEO company to optimize your site, or whether you're paying for pay-per-click traffic, or whether you're paying for TV advertising and radio, print, billboards to drive people to your website, you're spending a lot of money on new traffic. If you're going to spend money on new traffic, you need to treat that traffic like gold and talk to them again and again across the internet after they've come to your site. Leaving me to state there at the end that the visitors that leave your website are your biggest unleveraged asset. I'd leave you with this too on that thought. If you bought TV advertising, let's just say it was $100 to show up once a week on the TV, and then you told the TV station, well, I want to show up 3 times a week instead of 1 time a week. Well, we can assume that it would cost you, $300 a week, 3 times that, right? But imagine if instead you paid $100 to show up once a week, and then you only had to pay pennies per person. Everybody who saw that first commercial, you only had to pay a couple cents maybe for that person to see your commercial again and again and again. That's essentially what recycling does. You're focusing resources and effort on the people who got to your website in the first place. So how do you go about getting this type of a service going, getting remarketing or recycling going? There are some self-serve platforms out there. The problem is they don't create any ads for you. They don't help you with strategy. They don't do any A/B testing for you. You're essentially on your own. Just like the Google AdWords platform, every business owner who's tried their hand at running that on their own, for the most part, comes to us and says that they feel so burned they'll never do it again because they did nothing but waste their money. Google pay-per-click is a fantastic source of traffic and very profitable if done correctly. The same thing with remarketing. It's not necessarily a good idea for you to run solo on that, although it can be done. Typical self-serve platforms have a really high CPM, that's cost per 1,000 impressions, charging around $25 per 1,000. And stepping back, look at that. I had 400 and some thousand impressions for that martial arts school over 6 months. Look what that would cost at $25 per thousand. It would run around $10,000 for that. That's a really high cost per thousand impressions, but you don't realize it until you build up a good sized list and run into the problem of my ads are getting shut off every day because I'm reaching my budget limit. And finally, there's no integration with video pre-roll with these self-serve platforms or integrating it with Facebook recycling, which is really exciting. Doing that and actually targeting, remarketing people in Facebook. Agencies will do this. Many of them require a large-scale purchase to even get started. They also have a high cost per thousand. And you need to be aware of single platform solutions like newspapers, media outlets. Basically, a newspaper or a TV station will sell you a lot of this, but what they're selling you is all the impressions in the TV station website or the newspaper website. And that single platform solution basically keeps showing your banners or videos to the same group of people over and over and over and over again. You have very little reach. You're not reaching a large audience with that. And finally, I would advise any of you to, if you start a recycling program, to commit at least to a 3-month minimum, because like any advertising, it's all about reach and frequency. It's all about exposing the message over time and kind of breaking through that that filter of seeing so much advertising coming at you that you need to recognize and start to take interest in that company's banner ads. So I want to thank everybody for going through this seminar with me, and I've included one bonus here at the end for you guys about conversions itself, about how to boost conversion. And so let's go into that. If your business is to get lead captures, to get emails, to get response forms filled out, to get people to reach out to you, the best way to do this is a quid pro quo, this for that kind of an approach. Nobody wants to give their contact info on the internet. I know I don't. I know you probably don't either. We're not into just giving everybody our phone number, mailing address, email. It's just not something we want to do. In order to get that kind of information from a website visitor, you've got to offer something that has inherent value. And it has to be a valuable thing to that visitor without them becoming a client. So typically people will say, well, I'll give them a coupon for my service if they fill something out. Well, if I were offered a coupon for your service and I'm not your client yet, that's a presumptive close, isn't it? I'm thinking as I see that coupon, that's worth nothing to me. I'm not even your client, and I probably won't be. So why do I want that coupon? It has to be something that has inherent value. So for instance, to take it to the extreme, let's say I said, if you fill out this form, I'll give you a $10 gift card at Starbucks. Well, you don't have to be a client of mine to use a Starbucks gift card. That gift card has inherent value. And so as I'm sitting there thinking about whether I'm going to give you my contact information, that's a much stronger argument. And the closer it is to instant fulfillment. So the closer they can get to getting that thing immediately, the higher your conversion rate will get. So let me show you an example of this. Here's a company we worked with years ago. Guest Worker Canada. Actually, this never turned out to work for this company, but we did get a lot of leads and a lot of traffic for them. Basically, turning guest workers in Canada, getting them their 30-day fast-track green card, so they could work, because there's a labor shortage in Alberta and British Columbia. And so once they came to the site, they got over to the contact page, and here's what it said: get a free consult. Now we were running, quite a bit of traffic in there every day, and they were getting about 50 visits a day from pay-per-click, and they are getting 0 leads a day. So, well, we all know, get a free consult. Every website has that. This is not unique. It's what the business owners felt comfortable with saying. And after about a month or two of paying for 50 visits a day through pay-per-click and getting 0 leads a day, literally after 2 months, they had no leads. We recommended making one small change to the headline. So it needs to be something of inherent value. I realize I said that, but There was no giveaway we were going to give on this. There was nothing like a white paper or something of value like that. Instead, we just realized what these people really wanted to know was the cost. What's it going to cost to get you guys to help me to get this labor problem fixed? And so we had them change the headline to that one. Find out the exact cost 5 seconds from now. So it went from this, get a free consult, to find out the exact cost 5 seconds from now. Now, if you had a problem, labor shortage in your company, and every day you couldn't get to sleep at night because you didn't know how you're going to get the work done in your own company because you don't have enough employees. You found this website, seems like it's the perfect solution for your problem. That is the last question on your mind. They already said they can fast track them. Now you just want to know how much they're going to cost. They went with 50 visits a day and 0 leads a day. They went to 50 visits a day and 3 to 5 leads per day. By just changing the offer, making it instantaneously, the gratification, well, that's not even a triple or quadruple, or because they went from 0 leads ever to 3 to 5 leads a day. So that's just to give you an idea. Once you get the equation right, once you satisfy the inner need of that visitor, you can make miracles happen and leverage it to get all kinds of information out of them. Again, I want to thank everybody, and we had mentioned that there would be a door prize for this seminar. Keep your eye on your email inbox. That door prize is we are going to shoot a live on-page video. That's a spokesperson video with one of our professional actors for your website. Normally, that's a charge of $750 to do a buyout on that video. We're going to shoot it for whoever wins the drawing today. We're going to shoot it for you for free. We're going to help you write the script, and we're going to help you install it in your website if necessary. And you can put that on whatever page you like. If you wanted to YouTube it, we can put it on YouTube for you. You can have it that way as well. So truly a great prize for your website, and will help you to convert your visitors into action, into leads, or into sales. Again, I thank you, and I look forward to talking to you later on. We'll send you out some more notifications if we have more seminar topics in the future. And have a good rest of the week. Thank you.